Right, welcome back to the Practice Owners Playbook, and our webinar today is why your practice feels busy but isn't more profitable. And we have Cebron Walker with us today, who's a marketing and public relations specialist. He has 35 plus years of experience, and in 2015, he created or started his own company, which he's going to tell us about. And so, Cebron, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jules. Great to be with you and the Silkin team today. Share some insights for our veterinary independent practice owners. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. What is the current scene of the veterinary world? Like, what is happening in the industry? I know you basically are kind of on the front lines with the practice owners, and would love to hear what you have to share on that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, just a little bit of backstory so our viewers get that is, so when I started Walker Creative 11 years ago, of course, new agency taking on clients left and right, whoever would pay us. But very rapidly we found these independent practice owners, and especially veterinarians, were wonderful clients, and they needed a product that we knew how to deliver, which was a routine stream of new clients that can come in the door through traditional and very modernized marketing methods. So over the years, we've just had great experiences sort of learning with them and coming up with a real sort of playbook. And it's factually, just funny enough, I just wrote this book, Veterinary Marketing, and it includes all of what we've learned over the last 10 or 11 years. And today what I wanted to go over is certainly what's happening with the market and what we're seeing. As you said, we're on the front lines. Me and my team are working with veterinary clinics all over the country, West Coast, East Coast, up in Alaska, like just everywhere. And certainly the economy is having an impact. But people still own pets and people still need service for their pets, but they're being more specific and conscientious about price. And so there's two things we need to really understand to help our independent practice owners to win in this game, especially when you have a lot of corporate offices opening up and they, sort of have these generic Costco, Walmart style discount programs, and they have corporate advertising money behind them to get a lot of attention. But the experience that people have when they bring those pets in is not what the experience can be with your independent practices. And I really want to get into how we can differentiate you as independent practice owners to those corporate chains, even when they do have that ad money and discounts and various things they can offer.
Yeah, excellent. I have my own client base of veterinarian practice owners, and I think with any practice owners, like you said, being able to have a fluid stream of new patients, new clients in the door is one of the biggest hurdles that they have, right? Because we know they practice great medicine for the most part, and they're learning how to become business owners, but they also, the expansion is focused around being able to bring in and drive new patients constantly and with ease.
You have this natural relationship with the clients coming in the doors where you're going to treat them like family. And every conversation I have with independent practice owners that's their reality. That's their truth, is that, the people coming in the doors are not numbers. They are real people with pets they care about as members of their family. And while that relationship in the real world here, human to human is there, sometimes that does not get translated into the marketing you're doing. And that's the trick. And that's what we do with our clients at Walker Creative, is we translate those relationships you're building that you're naturally doing that does cause good word of mouth, because your medicine is good. There's no question. No no potential client out there in the world that's Googling, I need a vet near me because my dog is throwing up and doing this, or my cat, is limping and these things. They're not questioning and looking at your reviews to challenge your medicine capabilities, right? They're looking if you're a good cat veterinarian that maybe has fear-free policies in place, or you're good with dogs, or to see the reviews that say this is a super caring, blah, blah, blah veterinarian. Those are the things they're looking for. So medicine is never in the equation. We're expecting good medicine. So that human relationship is what we build. And we build that through a great website, through good social media, and through good educational techniques from your practice to your community. And there's maybe a lot of pieces to it, but we coach or build these things into all of our clients' practices. And again, because we can only handle so many clients, after 10 years of doing this is why I wrote the book. Because the book goes through really 7 principles that go to make up this strategy or marketing system for an independent practice owner. And by doing the book, I realized I can get this to thousands of veterinary practices. And it was the only way to sort of go, how do I scale myself? Because we are American-based. We do not outsource your work to other countries. And so we can only help as many people as we can possibly get to. And there's an amount you can do, right? So the book made it possible to get that information out there and then share it that way. So that's what the whole book is about, is to share the principles. And hopefully if you read those, you can implement some of them, and then you can get your marketing people or Walker Creative to help you do the parts you can't do.
One of the points here is why most veterinary marketing fails. And I know when I work with practice owners, right, they're doing this and they're doing that and they're trying this and they're trying that. And to some degree, they're not tracking what the ROI is on specific areas. They don't know necessarily where new patients are coming from. So that's one thing that we absolutely help them with. But I think a lot of the times it's not so much like you're talking about. It's not so much where do I put it, it's what is the messaging? What am I trying to get across? What is actually going to impinge upon someone and bring it in? And so, they get into these scattered marketing tactics, right? There's not one.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And it's so great with Silkin because you're right. Like if you can start to put some statistics behind these things and then put some ways to track and evaluate what's the best things to do, like what has worked, what hasn't worked, and so many of the clients we get, and you probably have the same experience. So many clients we get have been through 3 or 4 marketing agencies that said, well, the thing you need to do is Facebook ads, and it's only because they happen to be good at Facebook ads, or that's what they want to do because that's their thing. It doesn't really necessarily mean that's the right thing for that veterinary clinic, but that's the sales pitch you got, or a different agency that might specialize in SEO, which is search engine optimization. So you show up on search when people are like Googling for a vet. So that agency might have had a specialty about SEO, and that's the way they wanted to, make their money and build their agency. So they sold you a great SEO thing, but that it wasn't necessarily the whole strategy. And so one of the great things I love, because I have had 35 years experience doing this for so long, is I know the whole package, and I know all the pieces that need to go together. And if you do it in the right sequence and you build things, and none of it's an overnight success, but you build in the right strategy, in the right sequence, you have then long-term success. And I'm super happy to say that most of the veterinary clients that we have at Walker Creative, certainly we have new clients, but most of our clients have been around like 5, 6, 7, even 8 years. And they're still our clients today because we built systems in place so that now they're just cruising. Now they're just cruising because the system's in. If you look at this website, this is a client that we're just beginning to work with. So this is their existing website, okay? And to Pecan Grow Vet, I hope you don't mind, but this is reality. This is a website that's live online. There's nothing showing up there. These are stock photos, and it's just stock photo after stock photo. This is not what we would like as a modern presentation of a human practice connecting with clients. So as a comparison, so we had that website, which was built on technology from 7-8 years ago. It had stock photos and was not developed, as you pointed out, Julie, with who is my target audience? Who am I trying to talk to? It's not every person who possibly has some kind of a pet. It's people that have cats that need cat attention and dogs. And it's families with these animals in their house. And there's certain ways they think. And the majority of these people are in an age bracket and they have kids in the house as well. Like this is in that Tempe, Arizona community that has, I mean, let's get really specific. The community that practice is in has a median household income of $105,000 a house. They're in the millennial age bracket from like 29 to 40, and they will spend money on their pets because they consider their pets part of their family. And that's really important information to know. And so every marketing strategy needs to start with who is it that we're talking to? Because if that's one type of community, but then a different type of community might be a community that's very rural and does not have that kind of expendable money, and maybe the median household income is $55,000, which is a totally different situation. And they're definitely looking for a different price range, right? So it all has to start there. And then after you know who we were talking to, then it's the messaging and getting it written correctly. And the next step is humanizing your practice so that it communicates to the human beings. Because a stock photo of a puppy and a kitten doesn't tell me anything because it looks like every veterinary practice out there. And it certainly looks just like the corporate practices, which we don't want to look like at all. So, and I don't mean to stand them out, but I think majority of the people, Julie, that we're talking to are independent practice owners, if I'm not wrong, correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah, so this is just an example of a veterinary clinic in upstate New York. We actually are doing a video shoot with them next week. And this is video at the beginning that we get to see the practice. It's all written to speak to the people in their community in local Modena, right? They do pets and farm animals. These dogs are the actual owned by the doctor. We have a video that introduces the practice. Just the whole video. You get to sense it's a cute little practice.
I am Dr. Eleanor Ackworth. I'm the owner of Other Options, and I really liked
the practice. This practice has been clients of ours for over 2 years. They did a reward to a local community. They have photos of the different services they have. They have more video testimonials, blogs. This one's cute. They even wanted to acknowledge the photographer that we worked with to get this website put together. You get real pictures of them taking care of the pets and of the staff and all that stuff. They now don't want to do any advertising because they have too many clients on the schedule. And so by putting in the system of a great website with the right messaging to the right target audience that's humanized to connect with that community, and then social media that goes with that, and then we built all that in place and we're sharing content about education about how you take care of pets and stuff like that. Then we have the videos that further educate. We are at a position where they have such a great continuous flow of clients at the level they want that they have to do no advertising. Now, that's not, certainly no advertising is not what I'm going to say the ideal situation, because sometimes you just need to have some advertising going to continually introduce new families in your community to the practice. But this is a more rural practice in an area where it's a very slow growth area. So we just want to keep reminding people to bring your pets in, and we'll take care of your farm animals and that type of thing. What you're seeing on the screen here is sort of a pathway and a step-by-step. So social media, Google reviews, Google business profile, your website. Your social media you should be doing is Facebook and Instagram. Those are, I will tell you, because there's a lot of social media platforms out there to work with. But if you wanted to ask me, what are the ones that I'm going to get the broadest impact? the two that you should have, and they're connected because Meta owns both, so you can set up your Facebook profile and connect it to your Instagram profile, and so every time you post to one or the other, it goes to the other one. That's very human content, not stock photos and not some Canva graphic, right? And then you want, with that being done a couple times a week to 3 times a week, you want to get Google reviews. Everybody looks at Google reviews, but I will tell you, I've talked to millennials and surveyed them on this point, and I said, what is your path? How do you go to choose an independent practice that's going to serve your family? And it was an interesting conversation because this was a millennial mom, and she said, the first thing I do is I check the socials of the practice. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting thing. They don't check Google reviews first. What she was doing is she goes, I want to look at their Instagram posts and see if they're real. See if the doctor talks, tells me about, things to look out for. And if I see, inside the practice, what they're up to, happy pets, happy clients, educational material, little videos. If I see that, then I go, this is a cool practice that could serve my family because they're cool. They're happening. They fit my profile. They fit me, right? And I will say that this age bracket of this sort of like late 20s to 40s is a huge age bracket that we're all, as independent practices, serving, right? So social media it has real importance. It's not just something you have to do or you don't want to do and don't get to. It's a piece of the marketing puzzle. And then it's Google reviews. And of course, yes, people do go look at your Google reviews. We all want to have, a lot of great Google reviews. Having a perfect 5.0 number is not necessary. And sometimes that actually, and there's studies on this, that Northwestern University, I think, actually did the study, that a perfect 5.0 lowers trust because people think that you've tricked the system because no one's perfect. The best number is a 4.6 or a 4.7 because it's good, but not too good and not too bad. So it's okay to have some negative reviews. And so you want your Google reviews. You want a bunch of them. You want to be getting a Google review a week if you can. And then your Google business profile. This is all lined up to match your website. But this Google business profile is sort of like Google's #1 place to share information about your practice. So you want to make sure you have a really well set up Google business profile, new photos being put in there all the time. In Google business profile, there's something called an update. It's sort of like a Facebook post, but on Google. So you find this and you put updates on Google. And this is just new news about your practice. So try to do updates once a week on your Google business profile. Do them when you add photos, but keep that updated. What it does is when you update your Google business profile, it signals the algorithms behind Google that you are an active business promoting for new clients and you want to be seen, you want to be known. And the algorithm goes, okay, that business is trying. We're going to show them to more people. It's a funny thing to sort of think about that, but the algorithm is meant to work for you if you do the right things. So really get your Google business profile actively being taken care of. And then, of course, your website. This is your business. It's in many ways more important than you have your brick and mortar building where you do your treatments and services, but your website is where they find you first. It's where they're going to connect with your brand. So make sure you have a great website. And so that's one thing you want to do. And if I could share another example of a website we are actually in progress on.
And so just real quick, I love that because I think giving it strategically, like how this, like an actual flow line is very important because I know, it's like, okay, well, you have this and you have that and you have social media and you have this and you can't really grasp like how do these line up? How do these follow one another? What is the importance? So I think that really gives some stability on that line of like, okay, yeah, they go social media, they go Google reviews, they go to the Google profile website, right?
And Google business profile on your website. And those two really work together because you want them to match in the way of exact proper name of your business, exact address of your business, and exact phone number for your business. And some people may have heard of the NAP, I don't want to get too technical, of course, in this, but name, address, phone number, NAP. And so you want to make sure that NAP matches between your website information and your Google business profile. That's another signal to the algorithms behind all this stuff that you're legit, that you're honest, that right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's great. So I'm thinking about how do I do it as you're talking, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely go to social media. I'm definitely looking at the reviews, and then yeah, I'm looking at the website. So, and then
and
if you
and
can't
and, and it's
address,
interesting. Yeah, Jules, it's like it's human. It's how we have
right?
to think, because you and I are the age brackets of the target audience of these independent, practices that we're, trying to help, that we're here trying to help. And the things we do are the things that everybody else is doing. It's like we're on social media. Yes, we sit there and scroll, and we'd probably scroll more than we should, right? But when it comes to, like, if we think about it, when it comes to deciding on some, a restaurant we're going to visit, yes, we find things on social media. We go, wow, that's a local restaurant that they just hit my feed. I got to go check them out. They just promoted the coolest sounding margarita I've ever heard of. I've got to try it this weekend, or something like that, right? Or it's a veterinary clinic, or it's a new dentist office that opened, and the dentist gets in our feed, and he's a cool dude or a cool lady that is like, wow, that relates to me somehow. Like, we connected, right? So we do make decisions on these things, and if we do, they do. Now, granted, you're looking at this. This is a brand new website we're in progress on. We're about to go to a shoot there. We just rebuilt their site. And now this, I hate to say it, but this is a stock photo of a dog and a horse. They are a two-sided clinic. This is one of the biggest clinics in all of Arizona. They have an equine clinic on one side, and they have a small animal clinic on the other side in their sort of property. You drive into the property, and that's two buildings, right? And this is an amazing clinic run by Dr. Christine Statton. She's she's a speaker at vet conferences. She's amazing. And so we rebuilt this. We have videos, good photos, very clear. We used a lot of AI technology and SEO technology to make sure we're reaching both publics, for the equine side and for the small animal side. And one thing I wanted to show you with this is we're sort of in progress working with this group to optimize everything about them. We implemented just recently an AI chatbot so that after hours chats happen. But if we take a look at their social media, and this is their Instagram. Sorry, yeah, I gotta leave and come back now.
Right.
That's right. So there we go. Okay, so this is Adobe's, so the website we were just at, this is their Instagram. Now, their Instagram and their Facebook are connected, so you'll tend to see similar posts before. So group shots of the vet clinic staff, happy staff, tend to get awesome engagement. So, check this out, 106 likes, 11 comments, right? So you have what's called carousels. These are great. Hi, we are Adobe Veterinary Center. They share their mission, right? These are great things to do. Gets a lot of engagement. You have just different videos that are just sharing what they're doing with animals, right? They figured out a way to, I think she's figured out to weigh herself and then take her, then minus off her weight from the animal's weight. Anyway, funny things. But it's a simple video. Look at this. It's just her with that's a cow. That's a calf. That's a little calf. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how cute is that? But it's like that simple. It's just a little short video, just a normal day in the large animal department, right? That's all it is. It's cute. And look, it's got 107 likes, 2 comments. Funny little pictures, a staff member. Oh, okay. Yeah, like fleas. You find after finding fleas in your last patient. I mean, like, I don't know all about this, but this is just a simple little post, funny video. She acts like she's itching or something like that. So, cute, funny video, 40 likes, 3 comments. So, this, if we see this type of stuff, and for everybody watching this podcast, if this is what we want to see in your social feed, so it's real, it's human. Like, this is human. We don't want to see stock puppies and cute kittens. Those are cute, but that's not reality. This shot of a happy group of the staff together, this is what you want to see, right? This is what you want to see. People love to see people, and with animals, great, but they love to see people because that's who we're talking to. The clients are humans. They're not the pets. So a great example of a good social feed. So when you think about that slide I showed you of social media done well 2 or 3 times a week, then your Google reviews, get a Google review every time you have a happy patient, happy client. Hey, it really supports the practice. If you do a review for us, have a QR code little poster there so that people can click it with their phones and do it. It also gives great feedback to the staff, acknowledges the work they're doing. We get to read them out at staff meeting. Have a little spiel figured out. And in the book, I cover all the details of, how to do your weekly staff meeting, and then how you can do, what do you call it? Like, you can do drills where you work on how to ask for reviews and how to deal with clients. It's all in the book, right? It's got a complete, like, 6 different appendices at the back that are all worksheets with all the details. But it walks you through how to do posts, what is good for posts, what's working for social posts, how to do the Google reviews, how to set up your Google business profile, every single step by step, how to do it. It's all in the book. Of course, at Walker Creative, we do this for you, right? That's our job. We do it, we're an agency that specializes in this, so we'll do it for you or with you. But if you want to, get started yourself, of course, get to work right off the podcast. But on July 31st, this is going to be available on Amazon, Veterinary Marketing by Cebron Walker, and that has it all in it as well. And so, my hope is that I can reach as many veterinarians as possible to get these routines, these marketing routines that have done in the right sequence, have a great result.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, excellent information. And just tying it all back, in terms of, what we do with clients and how this fits in is we know that every practice, every business has 6 systems. And one of those systems is marketing. And if your marketing system, which is your front line, in order to attract clients and patients and increase profitability and expand and all those things that you want, is not fully complete, it just makes life very tough. And so, with these valuable insights that you gave, which is a portion of the marketing system, along with being able to track, like we talked about, your ROIs, in terms of where your new patients are coming from, public relations technology, what is that? How do you use that? How do you use that with what Cebron and his company does, and how to use that internally with your own staff? All of these are a large portion of your practice, and it's really important to ensure that that system is fully in. So we touched on a lot of that today. You gave some incredible insight. And so how could someone reach out to you beyond buying your book, if they need or want your services or just have questions?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Walker Creative, and creative is with a K, so walkercreative.com is the agency website. And actually, my name, Cebron Walker, I have an author or, book author website, cebronwalker.com. So literally, you just Google my name, cebronwalker.com. That goes to the website that's all about the book. And you can sign up for the pre-information about the book, and you get a quick start guide that gets you started on these things right off the bat, totally free. So go to cebronwalker.com. Actually, I could probably put a QR code in there for everybody. And then if you are interested in Walker Creative and the agency itself, it's walkercreative.com. But it's been great. I love sharing this information for everybody to get into use.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me and all of our viewers, and we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome.